Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we just got the reveal for the next core booster set, Alliance Insight. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the new reveals for Alliance Insight. So I'm really excited to go over this set with you guys because it actually supports the ANNIHIATION cards, and I have not checked out any of these cards yet, but I do see that it is going to actually support ANNIHIATION, and I did take a look at the pack artwork just to see what the new set was actually going to be called, and I'm really excited to go over these cards with you guys because it looks phenomenal. This card looks like ANNIHIATION mixed with Access Code Talker, which looks amazing. So let's go ahead and see what these cards actually do. So first off, it looks like we do have a new, basically, wizard monster. This card is Wizard ANNIHIATION, and this card is a level 4 Dark Cyverse effect monster with 1800 attack points and 800 defense points, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. That's actually really interesting about this card. So this card's first effect is if you control a Cyverse monster, special summon from the X deck, you can target a Dark Cyverse monster in your grave and special summon both this card from your hand and that monster in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except Cyverse monsters, which is totally fine because it's all you're summoning in ANNIHIATION anyways. This is actually a really interesting card to be able to play as an extender for the deck to be able to keep going with your plays. For its second effect, you can banish this card from your field or grave and target a monster your opponent controls and change its battle position. That's an okay effect to be able to use to basically just change the battle position. It does banish itself from the field to the graveyard. You're probably just going to banish this card from the graveyard, but that's a really cool effect to be able to use this card as an extender to get a monster out on your side of the field. And that's a pretty cool effect to be able to use. I wish this would just target any Cyverse monster, but I kind of understand why it just targets dark monsters because there's a lot of insane targets you could use with this card. So for the next one, it does look like we have a retrain of Backup Secretary, and this card is a level 3 Dark Cyverse Tuner effect monster, and that's interesting. This card is a tuner, so we're actually going to be getting maybe a synchro monster for adding this turn. That's really cool. So this card's basically a level 3 Dark Cyverse Tuner effect monster with 1200 attack and 800 defense points, and you only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. For the first effect, if you control a Cyverse monster, special summon from the X deck, you can actually special summon this card from the hand. That's pretty good to be able to instantly summon this card out to your side of the field as an extender, especially with it being a tuner, so you can step into some really cool synchro plays. For its second effect, if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually add a Dark Cyverse monster from your deck to your hand, except a copy of Backup ANNIHIATION, and then discard a card. That's a pretty cool effect to be able to use to combine with the copy of Wizard ANNIHIATION because of its ability that if you control a Cyverse monster special from the X deck, you can target a Dark Cyverse monster in the grave and then just special summon both this card from your hand and that monster. So this card is basically helping you get a monster into the graveyard and also be able to add your copy of your Wizard ANNIHIATION to your hand so you can summon it out to your side of the field and then potentially go for a synchro play, which is pretty interesting, but it does have to be a Cyverse, which is probably going to be interesting. Hopefully we do get a synchro monster among these cards, but that's a pretty cool retrain of Backup Secretary. Oh, he's back! Oh, he's back! We have Linkuriboh back, but he's an ANNIHIATION. Oh, dude, that's so cool. He's actually back. Maybe we're going to get him back in the TCG as well, but I do love how the tail is actually the symbol for ANNIHIATION. That's really cool. I'm really excited to actually see the Linkuriboh back. And this card is going to be a main deck monster. It's a level 1 Dark Cyverse effect monster. That's pretty cool. He's actually going to be a main deck card. Okay, so this card is called Kurikalink ANNIHIATION. That's actually really interesting, and I like the sound that he makes, which is really interesting. So this card is a level, it's actually 300 attack and 200 defense, basically the Kuriboh stats, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can have the ability that first effect, quick effect, you can tribute an ANNIHIATION monster to special summon this card from your hand or your graveyard, but banish when it leaves the field. Interesting fact that you do have to tribute a monster to get this card out. Also, for its second effect, When a card or effect is activated that targets a Cyverse monster you control, and you control a Cyverse monster, special summon from the X deck, quick effect, trigger this card to negate the effect. So it's targeting protection for your Cyverse, which is pretty cool overall. I really like this card that it basically just continues to protect your monsters like Linkuriboh did, which is really cool. But overall, pretty interesting card. For the next one, oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks really cool. That's like Firewall Dragon. Oh, yeah, it is Firewall Dragon. Firewall Saber Dragon. Okay. This card is hands down my new favorite Firewall Dragon. This card looks phenomenal. Maybe Singularity might be really close, but that just looks really cool. Like how you have the whole like armor look with the blades. That looks really, really cool. And then you see the white lines, like it really accents the card. I really like this card. This card's really cool. And it's a synchro. Oh, dude, this is a synchro. Okay, so this makes sense why we have a tuner. Okay. So this card is called Firewall Saber Dragon. And it's a level 7 Dark Cyverse Synchro Effect monster with 2300 attack and 2000 defense. That's pretty cool that it does have the 2300 attack stat to be able to use it with all of your Adagnister cards. So this card's material is generic. It is a tuner plus a non-tuner to make this card, so it's completely generic. Hopefully it's not completely broken. So for the first effect, for the abilities of this card, you can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. For its first effect, if this card is Synchro Summon, you can target a Cyverse monster in the grave or the banishment and add it back to your hand. Pretty good effect to be able to basically recover a resource. For its second effect, you get to target one of their Cyverse monster that you control that has a level, and this card's level becomes that monster's level, which is pretty cool as well to be able to get the exact level you need, so you can basically go for an XZ play. That's kind of an interesting effect. And for the third effect, if this card is sent to the grave as a link material, you can add one I spell from your deck to your hand, which is basically all of the Adagnister spells are I or AI spells, which is really interesting to be able to instantly grab the exact card you need. Overall, pretty cool card. I really love the artwork as well. That's actually a pretty interesting effect to be able to recover your cards, because you can actually get back like a Chi-Chi or a Picari from the graveyard, which is actually pretty cool when you play this deck. Because keep in mind, this deck already has a bunch of searchers to be able to just normal summon. Like the deck is full of Stratoses. So this deck is actually really cool to be able to instantly go in for a synchro play now. So for the next one, this card looks really cool too. It's called Code Igniter. And this card is a rank 4 Dark Cyverse XZ effect monster. So we do have a new XZ monster as well. And this card is 2300 attack points and 2000 defense points, with its material being 2 level 4 monsters. That's actually pretty neat. So this card's effect is you can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. So for its first effect, if this card is XZ summon, you can add a Cyverse ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So making it so that if you go into one, you can get to the next one, and then the following them, because the synchro monster leads into the XZ monster, and now the XZ monster is leading into the ritual monster, which is kind of interesting for this archetype, because you do actually kind of need to go into the different types, which is kind of cool. So for its second effect, you can detach a material from this card to ritual summon a ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed its level. That's a pretty cool effect. This card is a walking ritual summon. That is really interesting that it just, when it's summoned, you grab your Cyverse ritual monster and then you just detach and you ritual summon it. That's actually a really interesting effect to help you go in for your ritual summon, and I love how it kind of has the ritual flames on its hand as well to kind of represent that it's trying to ritual summon. That's actually really cool. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as a link material, you can add an eye trap from your deck to your hand. I'm not sure if there's really any good eye traps. I don't remember if there is any, but this is actually a really awesome effect to help you go in for your ritual play, especially being able to add any Cyverse ritual monster from your deck to your hand. This is actually a pretty cool card overall, and I can see this being used in a bunch of different Cyverse decks that you want to be able to summon out a Cyverse ritual monster, because there's a couple of different Cyverse ritual monsters we can use. Maybe we'll even get a new one. So for the next card, oh, here it is. It's an access code talker. Act code talker Adagnister. Okay, this is a Link 5. Oh, that's a lot of materials. Okay, it's a Cyverse Link effect monster with 2300 attack points. Again, 2300 attack points, with its arrows being left, bottom, bottom right, and right. So basically the entire bottom of the card is pointing. So that's really cool. All the bottom arrows and the side arrows are pointing, which is really interesting. Okay, so this card, it takes 3+ materials, and you can only use the second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Okay. This could be broken because this card is generic. Okay, it's completely generic. This could be absolutely busted. Let's see what it does. Okay, so for this first effect, if this card is link summon, you can activate this effect that you cannot special summon other monsters for the rest of the turn. Also, special summon as many Cyverse monsters with 2300 attack from your grave as possible. Does your zones this card points to? That's 3 zones. That is 3 zones that you're getting to just turbo out 3 of your monsters that are in the graveyard. Okay, that ties it all together. That's actually really good. And if you do, this card gains 500 attack for each. So you're going to be able to summon up upwards of 3 monsters to your side of the field that have 2300 attack points. This card is a game ender just to summon out all your monsters to your side of the field so you can go in. That's really awesome to be able to do. Also, for its second effect, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can tribute a link monster this card points to negate the activation to banish that card. That's really good. Okay, so this card is a walking negate. It's an OTK piece, and it's a monster reborn. It's not even a monster reborn. This card is soul charge. That's really good. It is on a link 5, so it's kind of justified to be so many different cool effects. But this card looks awesome, and it's a really cool looking cover card as well. And that's actually a really, really good card, especially with it having just generic materials. I could see this being splashed into Code Talker. I could see this being an Adagnister. Like, this has a lot of potential. This card has a lot of potential to be able to use in a lot of different decks. But being able to just use it with that 2300 attack point, that's really, really good. And then it goes up as well by an additional like 1500 on top of it. So it goes to 3800 basically on summon, kind of sort of like Access Code does, which is kind of neat. And plus this card is a walking negate, which the deck really did need a walking negate. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I'd be celebrating too with this support. Okay, so this card is called iTails. This is actually really cool, or Tails. This is actually really neat. So this card is a normal spell card, and oh, you can actually see all of them. Like, they're all in the artwork. That's actually really, really cool. I love that. Okay, so this card is actually going to have the effect that you can only activate one of this card's name per turn. For the first effect, you can reveal a Cyverse monster in your hand and apply the effect based on the attribute. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest turn after card resolves except Cyverse. It's basically just locking you into Cyverse, which is fine because it's all the deck summons anyways. And this card's first effect is if you do reveal a dark, you can special summon the revealed monster, and if you do add a non-dark level 4 lower Cyverse monster from your deck to your hand, which is neat that it actually plays into the other AIs. And if you do reveal a non-dark, shuffle the revealed monster in the deck, and if you do add an Adagnister monster with a different attribute from your deck to your hand, now we have like a bunch of searchers in this deck. This is insane. Okay, so this deck has like 12 searchers in it now, because you have the island that's going to help you get stuff out. You have Bakari, you have a Chi-Chi, and now you have this as well. That's insane that this deck actually has like an insane Rhoda to be able to use in the deck, and that just instantly lets you summon a monster from your hand and then also add a non-dark from your deck to your hand. That's actually really, really good and an awesome effect to instantly get the exact card you want on your side of the field, while also grabbing something like an Chi-Chi or a Bakari, which is just insane because then you can just normal summon them out and search something else. That's actually really cool. This card is going to help you make like link 3s like crazy. Okay, so for the last one, we do have a trap. This card is a normal trap card, and this is called Partners, and it's a normal trap card, but it does have the AI, so it is searchable. And this card is a normal trap card, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can target one face-up card your opponent, or you can target face-up cards your opponent controls equal to the number of Cyverse monsters you control with 2300 original attack and negate their effects into the end term. That is really good to be able to use, and plus it's original attack points, so that even works with the new big monster. That even works with this guy, the new Talker Adagnister, to be able to basically just negate their effects. That's actually pretty good, and now I see why the XZ monster actually searches a trap card, because previously we really didn't have a good trap card that we could search out of this archetype. That's really good. Okay, so for the second effect, you can banish a card from the graveyard, target when you banish Cyverse monsters, and special summon it. Okay, That's pretty cool, the fact that you can actually bring it out. And plus, I love the fact that he actually has the sword. Like, that's really cool. And it's like Deco Talker, and he's riding on the head of Deco Talker with the sword, just like Deco Talker's sword. That's actually a really cool throwback to the anime. That's actually really nice. Okay, so overall, really good support. This is actually, I could see this making the deck tier 1. Okay, being honest with you guys, because the deck already had some insane tools, and it does summon a towers, and now you have like access to be able to just get an additional monster on your side of the field. You have easy ways to be able to get into synchro play. You have targeting protection. You have this guy that's basically just a search. If you get a link material, you can search a spell. It lets you target one of your monsters and level manipulate to get the exact level you need. And if it's summoned, you can target Cyrus in the Grave of your Banishment and grab it back so you can summon it out, because a lot of them are extenders. This lets you instantly ritual summon, and it also searches your ritual monster, so you only have to play one of the ritual monster to be able to summon this out. That's actually really good. And if it's used as link material, you get to add partners, which is a negate, so this card basically turns into a negate, which is really cool. The new monster is a soul charge, and it's a negate. Like, that's really good. And then we also have an additional, like, almost like an E-Telly, kind of, sort of. Like, you just reveal a monster that's dark, and then you special summon the revealed monster from your hand. And then you get to add a non-dark from your deck to hand, so it doesn't even eat up the normal summon for the turn. That's actually really good. Overall, this is pretty good support. This card's probably going to be like a 2 of in the deck, because you can already search spells and traps really easily. This is probably a 1 of. This is a 1 of. This is maybe a 1 of. This card is definitely a 1 of. You might play 1 of this. This is probably with the ability, if it's special summon, if you control a Cyber special summon the extra deck, you can summon it. That's pretty good. So normal special summon, add a Dark Cybers from deck to your hand. That's probably a 3 of. Maybe I might be wrong. But being able to add a Dark Cybers is really good for the strategy. That's really insane. And then the new wizard, since you can search it off the backup secretary retrain, or off the new backup Adignister, this card might be a 2 of if you control a special monster or a dark monster. Yeah, it requires setup, so it's probably, this one's probably a 2 of in the deck. This is probably 2, this is probably 3, this is probably 1. This is 1, 1, 1, 2 to 3, and then 1. Okay, so overall, really good support. Really good support for the deck, and overall fantastic. I really like the cards, and also we finally have the artwork for the new pack. So that's gonna be this one, guys. What do you guys think? Does this take Adignister to tier 1? I think it's gonna take it to insane heights, because this deck is already extremely powerful. It just needs more extenders to be able to go into its plays and have more versatility. That if it does get stopped, you can still summon. And I honestly think, out of all the new cards, out of all of them, the new boss monster and the new Tails is actually like the 2 best cards out of them all, because this card just gives you, so you don't even have to waste your normal summon, because before it was normal summon, and then if it gets ashed or impermed or Veiler, it was over. Now you can still play, which is really cool. I feel like this card's probably actually a 3F. So that's gonna do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of these new cards for Adignister down in the comments down below. We'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.